Guys, how we doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, I hope everyone's okay. Big shout out to all the subscribers. As always, welcome along and gratitude to all. It's been a minute since I've made a video. You know, I was looking at my YouTube page and I was like, oh my God, it was like 40 days since I made a video. So apologies for my absence. I had a little break, to be fair. I was away for a bit and just relaxing. But, you know, sometimes the weeks go by, you don't even realize. But I wanted to give you guys a little update or a new video on this Subriel Matias versus Dalton Smith ongoing saga. Really, now it's gone from rehab to Puerto Rico to maybe New York now. It looks like it might be at the Barclays Center. So in this video we're going to talk about that, and I'm also going to talk about a video that if it is at the Barclays Center, and I want your input on this as well. If you want me to make this video, I'm going to get into that. But I will go down to the Barclays Center and do like a little tour of the stadium, right? From there, talking about the fight as well, but make it very elaborate. It'll probably take a few weeks to make, but I'll make it if you guys want me to do that. You know, I'll put the basically the ball in your court. You know, if there's enough comments saying no, go and do it, bro, I will definitely do that. And actually, I'll talk about the one I did at Madison Square Garden in this video as well, to give you an idea of what that video is I'm talking about. But also, in this video, I'm going to give my thoughts on each fighter's most important key to victory, from my opinion anyway. One thing that they should do, either guy, both guys, and I'll bring it unbiased here. Once I brought up a keys to victory against Paro, and somebody yelled at me saying, don't give away the keys to victory, bro. I was like, I'm just giving my honest thoughts, bro. So it's what it is. But they're very important keys, and in fact, that key that I gave in the Paro fight, Paro actually did do that, and you know, he was successful in doing it, and I'll get into that in the later part of the video, and also for Matias as well. But let's go.
You know, January the 10th, New York, Barclays Center. That's where I'll be crowned WBC World Champion.
You got a message for Subriel Matias?
Coming, baby.
Alright, first off, I just want to give a big shout out to my man Rafael Rivera. He is from Puerto Rico. He's an artist. And you know, me and him have been talking. You're probably familiar with him if you've been watching the channel. He is, you know, a fantastic artist. Actually, I'd love to make some music with him. But you know, we've been connecting over the last few months, maybe even a year. When I put that initial video for the track that I made, I'll play it in the background now because I wanted to do something with that, and he got interested in that, and we've been talking. But you know, eventually we're gonna make some art. But every time I'm thinking about making a video like this, he pops up in my DMs.
Bravo!
Yeah.
Rafael hijo pródigo. Rafael Rivera.
Yeah.
He's taking care of his family. Rafi, I wish you well, wish your family well, and we'll get talking really soon about some music in the near future, because if Matias does get through this fight and there's a massive fight on the horizon, I would love to make an anthem with him, you know? That'd be really awesome, hopefully. Anyway, big shout out to you, and big shout out to anybody you know, watching right now. Very grateful for everybody. And let's talk some boxing, right? Because I'll get onto the Barclays thing in a minute, but let's talk about the keys straight away. Because, and this is just my opinion, there's going to be a lot of different keys to victory, you know, and as the fight gets closer, I'll probably do a full video for both guys, as I did for the Paro fight. But I would say for Dalton Smith to have a key to victory, pardon me guys, I'm just going to move this, quite particular about where the actual camera is. For Dalton Smith to have any type of success, and for anybody fighting Subriel Matias, and this is probably going to be a big key, and you know, it's like you cannot go in there and try to knock him out. All right, that's just a fatal mistake. And you know, I've referred to this fight might end up a bit like the Duke-Mbaev fight, which, by the way, Duke-Mbaev is on like a 6-win streak or something like that, right? So that win is aging like fine wine right now. Granted, he hasn't fought really anybody, but he also, you know, he's not fighting just, you know, fighters with losing records. He's fighting fighters that have lost a few fights, sure, but he's winning the fights, and he's won 5, maybe 6 in a row. And he's a good fighter. That was a hell of a win, and that actually was, you know, peak Matias, I think, from my opinion anyway. Hawkins and Djukembaev, and those, you know, that kind of energy. I don't know if we'll ever see that again. Maybe close to it, but you know, he was a beast in that fight. Matias was, but he definitely got, you know, came out, you know, a few bumps and bruises, you know. But anyway, Djukembaev, yeah. So you could see he just got dragged into a fight, right? Because that's the natural instinct. A lot of boxers have an ability to, you know, it's the instinct. You want to rumble, especially if you're tough.
Ready to get on track. Oh, why? That left hand remains money. Oh man, an incredible round here.
Dalton Smith's a tough guy, you know. He's got skills. Obviously, I've spoken about this loads of times. He's got nice, crisp power.
A bit of waiting in between, but he's still being first, and it's those ones that he's studying.
Right hand. Set up the opening with the left hand.
But does he have the patience, the fortitude, and the ability to pull back on his punches, right? You know, not put 100% in some of those shots, or even 80 to 90%. You know, you got to. Oh, sorry, man, this keeps creeping over. You got to be able to pull your punches a little bit. He's gonna have to, you know, because if you can look at the Liam Paro fight again, I'll try and pull up some clips as I'm talking, where Paro, he's not loading up like this, you know, or loading up like that.
Liam Paro, a lot of confidence and a lot of punches are being thrown. Pack, use the angles and always use the ring. Paro's doing just that and having success. And
that's what Matias makes fighters do, because they get so anxious and they go into fight or flight mode, right? Or, you know, they just run for their life. But no, when you fight like that, it is exhausting. It can take your energy bar down dramatically, like it did with Djukembaev. And, you know, I don't think Dalton Smith's cute enough to be able to, you know, keep Matias off from his, we don't know. I mean, I've shown a few clips of him on the inside in my last video where, you know, he shelled up, he was quite tight and neat and, you know, compact.
Not discouraged, gets nice and tight here. Good body work, then switches the uppercut. This is good from Benjamin. Benjamin just digging his toes there far side of the ring, looking to try and find that ribcage and then look for the uppercut. Smith just tucking up, doing an effective enough job, and then just turns off the ropes himself. But,
you know, you can't really, you have to fight Matias if you're going to do that, and you have some silky skills. You know, obviously Puello had some quote-unquote success, but when he wasn't, you know, fouling him, and I spoke about this pre-fight, is when you break Matias's base when he's on you, just to grab him and push him back.
Power and the speed before they start unleashing their own power.
But obviously excessive clinching was a part, and then the headbuttings too. But if you can still come in on a fighter and nudge them back a little bit, take their base off, that's one of the many cute things you're going to have to do against Matias. Because Matias, to be fair, he kind of lets fighters do that a little bit. You know, I don't know if it was part of, maybe because if you're trying to fight back when someone's doing that as well, you might lose a bit of energy yourself. So maybe he was doing that deliberately, thinking, "Oh, I've got time to get to you." I don't know, but I wonder if there's another alternative for just constantly getting pushed back like that, you know, because he wasn't really trying to fight, at least not from what I saw, as much as he used to in the clinches, right? What do you guys think about that? Is it me, or is he not really fighting in the clinch? I've probably got to watch that fight again just to I've watched it a couple times now. I ended up having it a draw in the end. I know the first time I saw it, I didn't give Matias the 10th round, but I watched it back and I did give him the 10th round against Puello, I'm talking about here. And then in the second and third round, I actually gave the second to Puello, but you could have quite easily given that to Matias. I can see that one being a major swing round. So those two right there, totally get it. You could have had a 7-5 Matias for sure, you know. But anyway, whatever, it doesn't really matter. The right man won because for the reasons I've just talked about, you know, with Puello's tactics and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, so Dalton Smith, don't try to knock him out. Whatever you do not try to knock him out, because that is a trap, because I don't think you can. You know, I don't think you can. I really don't. I mean, I'm sure, yeah, if you had a heavyweight in there, sure, but I'm just saying, from a 140 guy, the shots he was taking off of Ergashev.
Third fight for Matias with Nahar, and he likes the combination, you know. He
say, yes, his chin's probably gone down a little bit. It's a natural thing when you're that aggressive. and you just training camps and stuff like that. You know, he's a warrior, man. But I don't think you can knock him out, and I would be very impressed. I think, like I said before, I think Smith will have his success early, and I think he could hurt Matias early because he's a sharp shooter. He's crisp and he's got power.
There's ones that he's stunning.
And you know, Matias, you know, this is actually going to get onto the key to him actually, because I think lately Matias's defense has actually been better than advertised, right? He's been, and the key for Matias, which he's had and done before, is to just simply keep your hands up more, be more disciplined with keeping your hands up, and you know, a bit more head movement, which he was doing quite a lot against Puello. You know, so like actually Matias is becoming not as easy to hit as people think. They go back to the Duke and Bayer fight where, yeah, he walks in and he abandons defense. He started to change that against Ponce. He started to keep his hands up a bit more. Started to do it against Ergashev as well. Not so much against Paro because he just had that lackadaisical fight energy. But when he keeps his hands up and he's bobbing and weaving like that, and he's pushing you back, and his offense is his defense.
Couple of rounds. I think Alberto Puello has to stay.
And I think what's also serving Matias well here is he has a lot of experience. Both these guys are really impressive with not pulling back their punches.
He's actually not that easy to hit, I'll be honest. There's a lot of myths about Matias, right? One being that, really. And I do understand it because it was there, right? But more recently, he's not super easy to hit when he's got that discipline, when he's got his hands up and he's bobbing and weaving. I'm not saying that his defense is great at all. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I just think people might be going back in time and thinking, you know, oh, he's crude and stuff like that. But there's a lot of cuteness in there. There is. And in fact, it was something I got to correct myself on, or at least I got a little bit wrong, where I made that video about scientifically what could Matias do to, you know, deploy metrics and stuff and the athleticism. And I was thinking about it the other day and I was like, well, hold on. You know, he's now 33. I don't think he should be focusing on exploding athletically. You know what I mean? He's not getting any younger. So you've got to focus on being smart. And being smart, simple stuff is just keeping your hands up, disciplined for the whole fight, right? And, you know, bobbing and weaving like that and just, you know, rocking like, you know, undershots like that and pushing your opponents back. And if you can do that, he's not as easy to hit as people think, you know? So those are the two keys to victory for me. And obviously there's going to be more. Maybe I definitely will do a keys to victory for both fighters closer to the date. But, you know, I just thought I'd make a video about that. Let me talk about this Barclays situation. So, yeah, I mean, that's a big project with music. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to do music with Matias and like dress it up. I'll be outside there. I'll get my missus to come down with me. She can shoot the thing. And actually the one at Madison Square Garden that I did, right? And I've got to say, I don't like how I came across in that video. Not that I'm like come across bad. I just was like very inexperienced.
So this is Madison Square Park. This is where the very first Madison Square Garden originated from. It got its name from Madison Square Park, which got its name from the 4th president of the United States of America, James Madison. This is where it all started, right here.
And you know, like you sometimes out there, I'm trying to do, I don't even know what I was doing, to be honest, but I was growing a little bit. I was in the learning stages of being behind the camera, and you know, I watch it back and I'm like a bit cringy.
I've also been fortunate enough to be here from Cotto Martinez. Historic fight.
The fight is over. We have a new middleweight champion.
Miguel Cotto has done it after 9 rounds.
When you have historic fights that occur over and over and over in the same building, it has to equate to a historic building. The energy, the souls, the spirits that have engaged in battle, the fans that have witnessed that over the years and the decades and the centuries. Madison Square Garden is the Mecca of boxing. Hands down.
You know, so just bear that in mind. I'll leave the link for that probably at the end of the video and in the description. And it goes, I'm outside MSG because I've been there several times and for very historic fights I've spoken about before. But you know, I was just giving a history about the building, and I was talking about where it was. You know, I was all over the place. I was in Madison Square Park too, which is where it first was, and I was just outside the building trying to get some, you know, just a little documentary basically, and I'll do the same for Barclays if it's there and if you guys are up for that. And if not, just don't leave a comment. And I'll get an idea of who's into it or not. But yeah, I'll dress it up big time. I want to put some music in for both fighters. You know, I'll do some Dalton Smith's from Sheffield, right? And I don't know if you guys watched that HBO show Moblands, right? There's an intro beat with that, right? I'll play it now for like. It's actually a cool song. I like that song. It's kind of a breakbeaty UK, kind of gritty northern, has a northern feel. I don't think they might be from up north, I'm not sure, but I'll make a beat like that for Smith, and I'll do maybe a remix of the beat that I've made for before for Matias. I'll get in the studio and I'll put it all together, because I'm an artist really, and I keep saying a big part of this channel is going to be more music, which is why sometimes if you don't see me, it's hard for me to do these videos, because they literally take about a day or two, which is fine. It's not a complaint. It's just, you know, when I try and piece all these things together, I'm like, wow. And then you know, the stuff comes up. I just started back in teaching in the schools again. So I'm in the Bronx actually every Thursday now, and I'm going to get more schools come at me. And I was DJing last night, and I was away. So you know, life happens. But I want to do that, and or I said I will do that if there's people that are interested in seeing that. But also, I was actually at the inception of the Barclays Center too, and you know, Danny Garcia last night.
Was it the wrong style? What do you think?
I mean, look, obviously.
Oh! Hold that thought. Down goes Gonzalez in round 4.
Oh, well, yeah, Saturday night. I'm shooting this Sunday. Hopefully, I'll get it up tonight, maybe tomorrow. But he was, you know, obviously had his farewell. I was at the very first one, the very first inception on the 20th of October. I can't remember the exact date, because it was probably, I want to say 8, 9, 10 years ago maybe, and he was against Eric Morales in the second fight when he nearly took Morales' head off.
And to the top of the head.
Danny Garcia's doing, oh my.
And it's over, y'all.
Yeah, I was at that fight, and I've seen a couple of fighters nearly get their heads taken off.
Oh, vicious right hand! Pedraza goes down!
And unfortunately, one of them was Puerto Rican. You know, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans tuning into this. Jose Pedraza, I was at that tank fight, and that was wild, you know. So I've been to the Barclays Center loads of times. I saw Paulie fight Broner there. I saw Danny Jacobs win his first world title. I've been there loads of times, so I've got an idea of how the stadium is inside, and obviously outside. I'll do a bit of history, and you know, I don't know. It's kind of I was gonna do it actually. I'll pull up the old thumbnail. I'm gonna do a better thumbnail than this one because I've gotten better at doing them. But I was gonna do it, you know, well, years ago really. I don't know when or why. I think maybe I can't remember why. I just was like in a creative mode to do stuff like that, right? I feel like I'm rambling a little bit. Apologies if I'm just going on and on about the Barclays Center, but it's just an exciting project that I'll be up for doing. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on this fight. I know it hasn't been confirmed yet. We're waiting. It's been one of the weirdest, you know, lead-ups to a fight because, you know, they're not really saying exactly what's going on, but it's all rumored. But we'll see. Hopefully, we get an announcement, and I'll try to keep up to date with a bit more because I haven't really been on boxing for about a month or two. Like I said, life happens, and you know, I've been getting a bit more into music in the studio and stuff like that. I'm trying to bring a bit more music to the channel. So if you do see some random music stuff come up, just bear with me because I'll always come back to these videos, you know. And in the new year, I'm not quite sure what to do with this channel. I want to keep doing these videos, but I've got to find a way to get them in where they don't take, you know, 5 days. I'm exaggerating a little bit. But anyway, that is it from me. Thank you very much for tuning in. Very grateful. As always, if you made it this far, much love. And, you know, have a great week. It's going to be probably Monday by the time I get this out, maybe tonight. And, you know, always grateful. Peace, love, I'm out.
Porque cuando tú estás seguro de lo que tú das y tú eres, no le temes a los riesgos. Porque cuando tú estás seguro cuando tú estás seguro. Porque cuando tú estás seguro de lo que tú das y tú eres, no le temes a los riesgos.
Is that when you're sure of what you know that you have, the skill that you have, then you take the fight.
Boxing.
¿Dónde es?